Today on Great Places Seen, necessity and trials of the RV life. It's in that second word, life, that covers all experiences. I confront easy but often neglected maintenance, and then hold on through the remnants of a hurricane. The National RV Training Academy says most of the trailers you see on the side of the road usually have a wheel bearing issue. Well, today I'm going to grease wheel bearings. Overdue, but better late than never. I've got my jack and jack stand, grease and grease gun, towels, hand tools, and a tub to catch the old grease. So let's get this in the air a little bit and get the hub off. No sooner than I'm set up to start, a pop-up summer storm appears. Everything is quickly covered as I scramble for the safety of my car and wait it out. When the storm passes, it's almost as if it had never blown through. Well, back to wheel bearings. Nucamp, and I'm sure other manufacturers too, recommends hitching the trailer for stability when jacking. And be sure to chock the other wheel. We don't want any rolling or falling. Alright, this little part of the frame here is the lift point. A car jack with enough height works. In fact, it's probably not a bad idea to test jacking up your trailer when you first get it. You know, so you're not learning the hard way on the road. I only need just enough height to be able to rotate the wheel. Nucamp uses Valvoline multi-vehicle grease for GM cars, so I'm using the same. Check what your trailer has and use at least compatible grease. Most every trailer for at least the last decade can be quickly lubed. This Tab 400 has the Dexter Easy Lube system. It has an easy off cap too. I should have been ready to catch that one. Gently pry that out. Alright, next I'm going to load a cartridge. Then it'll bleed a little out till it starts coming out of the nozzle. And we're ready to grease. The new grease is sent to the back, where it pushes the old grease forward and out. You'll see it starting in just the first couple of pumps. I'm rotating the wheel as I pump the gun so the bearings are completely surrounded by fresh grease. The old grease is dark and gooey. I'll stop a few times to wipe it off before it falls. You'll start to see the brighter color grease come through as it's being exchanged with the old grease. And when it's all the color of the new grease, well, you're pretty much done. Clean it up and put it back together. The new grease is much thicker. You see the difference as it comes through. There, that's all new grease coming out, so I'm done. I'm going to clean it up. Old grease is on the left, new grease on the right. I've simply just wiped out the outer seal, and I'm going to put it right back where it was. That's all there is to it. Done. The same procedure is repeated for each axle you have. I only have one more. We all check our tires much more than our bearings. But if your bearings fail, you're going to be stuck with perhaps much more work and expense than with a tire. This is easy maintenance to be done every 12 months or 12,000 miles, whichever comes first. It's maybe best to do it at the start of your travel season for peace of mind. This doesn't replace pulling off your wheels and physically removing, inspecting, and hand-packing bearings, and while you're at it, taking a close look at the brakes. That you could do every other year, or sooner if you detect issues developing. While you can do all this yourself with minimal effort, it is a good idea to have an expert at least take a quick look once in a while. It's always a great feeling to have a major maintenance item done. But now I'm looking at a major storm racing up the East Coast. Hurricane Debby is tracking to be right over my home as I leave on a long-planned trip. I'm not canceling, but I'm going to have to navigate this somehow. At least each day the storm seems to be pushing farther west. But that's not going to stop intense wind and rain. Well, this is really serious. Sheets of rain, heavy wind. Just got a tornado warning. Yeah, and I'm supposed to be leaving now. Yeah, it's really coming down hard out there. Visibility so low. My goodness. I think this is the remnants of a hurricane. There is some serious wind and rain going on out here. My phone is going off. Tornado warnings are out. Yeah, we got a big storm blowing through. And I'm going to be driving in this. Oh, this is going to be fun. As I sit here watching this early morning torrent, I'm also checking my radar and quickly changing forecasts. The main issues are flooding and wind, and I'll be moving in the same direction as the storm, virtually chasing it and then getting back into it. Then, there are more bands of the hurricane to follow. If I can just get to Delaware and New Jersey, I should be okay. Guess I don't have to worry about watering the plants. I see a break that may very well be my break to slip out of here. Here's the clearing I'm looking for. There's that strong band moving past DC. Oh, planes are flying. It can't be too bad, right? I hope. Keeping my ears to the radio while I drive.
This car was pretty deep. It was a little Toyota, and it was up to the doors, maybe beyond. And when they pulled it out, you just saw all the water run out of the car. Quite a mess. Luckily, no one was injured in that. But that's what you're facing out here this morning. Several spots where there's deep water across roadways. And
as it stands now, a flood warning for parts of D.C., Alexandria, Montgomery, Arlington. The inner suburbs of D.C. will remain in effect until about 1 this afternoon. This because of the remnants of Hurricane Debby.
And let's start out with the situation on the Bay Bridge. The wind restrictions in effect mean they are single file, letting people to the bridge as they check the vehicles to make sure they're allowed to get across. You have some flooded out roadways. This would be University at New Hampshire in the intersection where a vehicle got stuck. Game Preserve Road was closed between Clopper and 355 after a vehicle got stuck in the roadway. The newest problem is on the George Washington Parkway southbound after the Memorial Bridge. In that long-term work zone, the reversible lane has to remain closed due to the weather conditions. So it is only a single lane through the work zone in the southbound direction. Northbound is always like that at this time of morning, but southbound usually has a couple of lanes available to you.
Well, we still have ongoing flood warnings and some flash flood warnings still out there. But the thing is, we're seeing a lot of that heavy rain. There's going to be some waves of rain still. And within some of those, we can have some heavy rain. We've got several more hours of at least chances of rain, and again, some heavy rain here and there before this is all said and done. The National Weather Service has trimmed back the tornado watch. They have continued the tornado watch until 2 p.m. and that is for areas east of the Blue Ridge Mountains. They just reissued it. So again, we have a tornado watch until 2 p.m. for areas east of the Blue Ridge Mountains. We have a plethora of flood warnings. Pretty much our entire region is in a flood warning. So just be careful on the roads.
The good news is right now, this stretch of the Washington Capitol Beltway is pretty wide open. Not many people have ventured out as of yet, and that's great for me. I am out much later than I had planned, but with good reason. It was almost impossible to get out on the road earlier. Just deluge, rain, heavy, tornadoes, you name it. So that band has passed. As you can probably see out the window behind me, it is not raining. Actually looks pretty clear, not bad at the moment. So I'm going to make as much headway as I can. It's okay if I'm later than I wanted to be. Caution is always the best route, and that's what I'm doing today. Heading to the trailer, going to pick that up, and with any luck, the wind won't be too bad as I head toward Baltimore and then over to the Jersey Shore, where it looks a lot better weather-wise. So let's see how the traffic holds up, the weather holds up. It's going to be an interesting ride. Perhaps, hopefully not too interesting. The last weather forecast I heard said there's a tornado watch until 2 in the afternoon along the shore areas. Guess what? That's where I'm heading. So, yeah, I'm not expecting any tornadoes really, but there may be some heavy wind. And with a trailer, you know, that'll be something to deal with, potentially. I'll have to say, though, that the Tab has done very well in extreme winds. I've gone through heavy thunderstorms, and it's not rocking around or swaying. So I'm expecting a good ride regardless of the weather today. This is what happens when a storm moves south to north in the DC area and I'm heading north. It's clear when I left, but I have now caught up with the rain that was over my home. So hopefully this isn't going to last too much longer as it continues to move north and away from here. I still have to hitch up, and I don't really want to hitch in the rain, but I may have no choice. You know it's really windy when a big flag like that is flying straight out from its pole. I'm making sure I start with a full tank of gas. It's very windy, light rain, but not too bad as I get hitched and ready to go. It's also my first ride with part of my new mobile studio installed. This will shape up to be a real shakedown test, literally. Well, I have my new microphone booms installed, and we're going to see how they do in transit. I can always take them off, but I'm kind of curious to see how they fare going down the road. That might not be a good idea, but I'm going to try it. I'll keep an eye on them. $10:37, and I'm off with the trailer. The travel time is estimated to be roughly 4 hours, so that gets me there 2:30, 3 o'clock. Not bad. We'll have to see, of course, given the conditions outside today. Fortunately, traffic appears light at the moment. That's good. I have freshly greased wheel bearings, so that's very good to know, and a full tank of gas. Hey, let's roll. Travel route for today takes me on local roads until I hit Interstate 70. I'll take that east to its terminus, where I'll pick up the Baltimore Beltway and then join I-95 North, the dreaded I-95. And this little stretch of I-95 between Baltimore and the New Jersey Turnpike is notorious. Given the weather, given the light traffic now, I'm actually optimistic that it's not going to be so bad today. So we'll find out when we get there. Beyond that, then I take Route 40 east toward Atlantic City and end up just south of Mays Landing, New Jersey for the NJ24 meetup. Can't wait. I've been looking forward to this for months. But just a day ago, I was at the trailer doing a little bit of work, and I checked the tire pressure. Everything's holding steady. So that made my departure a lot easier today. Fewer things to go around and take a look at before taking off.
We're checking for vehicles to see if they are able to cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
The water is starting to recede now a little bit. This ranks as the biggest flood here in the downtown area ever recorded. The good news is when high tide comes again later on tonight, they do not expect it to be as bad as it was here this morning. We're live on the docks.
I'm working through a band of wind and rain on I-70 as I approach Baltimore. The spray from the trailer is huge. Look at that. It's pushing out 6 or 8 feet off the side of the road. Just as the rain is sudden, it quickly stops, and there's a welcome dry stretch. But the clouds remain thick, low, and streaming so fast over my path. The big trees are blocking some of the high wind, as long as they don't topple. Well, if you're wondering what my gas mileage is at the moment, not too bad. 17.3, I'll take it. And my other car stats are nominal. Here it is, the final mile of Interstate 70 on the eastern side of the highway. As you know, the western side of I-70 goes all the way west. Way west. Here we are, this is the end of Interstate 70 on the eastern side. Its terminus at the Baltimore Beltway. There's a combination, New York and Towson, Maryland. All right, here's my road. Stevenson Road leads to the little town of Stevenson and Stevenson University, where my youngest daughter just graduated. Now that's cool, having a Stevenson graduating from Stevenson University. Kind of makes you feel like you own the place, doesn't it? Finally, the clearing weather has caught up, and it's not too bad as I'm approaching I-95. For now, it seems I've driven through the worst of the storm. It's almost as if I have a tailwind behind me now. Well, for the moment, the superhighway looks absolutely super. Let's hope it continues. But there's still this stretch of I-95 which is infamous for long backups, and there's still more of the hurricane to make its way north. The Susquehanna River. It empties just over there into the upper Chesapeake Bay. Well, it is I-95. Seems inevitable, doesn't it? My guess is things are slowing down because of that very dark cloud in front. There must be a lot of rain up there. That looks like a serious band of storm. Hurricane Debby. Actually, it's Tropical Storm Debby now. Doesn't make much difference if it's pouring. Yeah, that's rain ahead. I'm into more rain. Wind gusts, which honestly haven't been too rattling. Some lightning. And I'm keeping an eye out for more serious weather like potential tornadoes. Again, it's very wet for a few minutes, then dry. am for the most part staying to the right, except where I'm forced left at one of several splits. All of these left exits, I mean, there's no way I can jump all these lanes if I wanted to get off. No need to stop at the Delaware Welcome Center. I wanted to reach this point unscathed anyway, and I'm fine at the moment, and I don't have too far to go to reach southern New Jersey. Here's one of my favorite bridges. It's so simple, big, and 4 generous lanes across. No phones, didn't say anything about cameras. George Washington should have had it so easy when he crossed the Delaware. Well, he crossed upriver away from here anyway. But it just doesn't seem right as the father of our country that he'd have to pay a toll, even being so simple as having Easy Pass. George Washington? He gets a pass. He paid enough as it was, traveling everywhere for decades, bouncing in his saddle. Makes me sore just thinking about it. He'd probably say we've got it too cushy. True. The New Jersey Turnpike, at least for a few moments. I'm diving off to Route 40 East. I'm feeling much better now that the super busy part of the drive is behind. It's one little town after another now. Speed limit on US Route 40 is 40. Route 40 shoots straight as an arrow through here. Not too bad. It's 1:45 and I'm about 20 miles away from Mays Landing. Despite the rain, despite the traffic, I'm on Route 40 and moving right along, and looks like I'm going to get there at a decent time. Route 40 does have its twists and turns along the way. For the most part, it's straight, along what is known through here as Harding Highway and Black Horse Pike. By the way, US Route 30 just to the north is White Horse Pike. Stopping briefly just to check my directions, but I also like to check the hub temperatures on my wheels. I do that by using a laser temperature reader. And I just shoot it there and it tells me what the rim temperature is. Both sides should be about the same. Doesn't matter really what they are. It shouldn't be too hot, but certainly low 90s is good. Yeah, looks fine. Well, looks like the microphone boom stayed in place. Also stopped by a payphone. Look at that. The weather was a little bit nicer here in southern Jersey, but I guess we're coming across another band of the storm. The winds have picked up, and the low clouds are really passing by right to left at a pretty good pace. A little bit of rain. Not too much left of Debby. A little bit more down toward North Carolina, southern Virginia from what I heard, but this seems to be about the extent of it at this point. Okay, I'm off of US Route 40. I am now on local roads heading toward a town called Dorothy. Kind of appropriate, being in the remnants of a hurricane here, and which can spawn a tornado, kind of Wizard of Oz-like. Okay, that's a stretch. Sometimes the RV journey is just that, all about the journey itself. Now that I'm cruising down the home stretch, I'm looking forward to getting to my campsite, set up, hang with friends, and let the skies overhead take care of themselves. All right, 11th Avenue. One more turn, and we're at the campground. Here it is, Mays Landing RV Campground. I'm in a site tucked closely between a few trees. Well, not a problem for this rig. I did get lucky. One try and I was in. My waste hose, though, it's going uphill. Not a real issue since I'm here only 2 nights. If I haven't had enough water on this trip, there's at least a nice scenic pond behind me. Water where it should be. Thanks for watching, and follow GPS for more from here and near Mays Landing, New Jersey.